I'm Tim Barkley with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and today we're talking with Brad Hilfrink with Creature Catchers. How you doing, Brad?
Good, Tim. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Brad, tell everybody about Creature Catchers.
Well, Creature Catchers is a local organization that does wildlife relocation and rescue. What we do is we critter-proof homes, and then we relocate the animals that are inside or damaging the homes.
And what kind of critters are we talking about?
My friend, it's everything. Squirrels, rats, raccoons. If it lives here, we catch it. Everything, snakes to birds. I mean, it's all.
And I understand that you don't refer to yourself as an exterminator or a pest control company, right?
That's correct. I actually pride myself in not killing animals. What I do is I go in, I catch them, I relocate them, and then we critter-proof your house so that they can't get back in.
And what about like rats? Is that something that is there an exception made for those dirty creatures?
Rats, yes. To relocate a rat, it has to be released in your yard. So if you want to have the house critter-proofed, we can release them in your yard. Otherwise, we do a lethal trapping on rats, but
Gotcha.
Nothing else.
Okay. Well, what kinds of problems do homeowners experience here in the Low Country as it relates to the critters that Creature Catchers catches?
Well, usually what it is someone calls me and they say they hear something in the attic. That sound in the middle of the night, they call me. I come out and figure out what it is. The damage these animals do, they cause house fires, they tear into your HVAC systems, they chew on low voltage wires so alarm systems continuously go off. They're actually very damaging. They bring diseases into your house and leave the disease in your attic so that when you go into your attic you can have problems and airborne pathogens.
So a homeowner might hear some scratching, and in a couple minutes we're gonna go take a look at an attic area, and you're gonna point out some of the things that the signs that homeowners should look for to know that they may have a problem if they don't already hear the scratching and things like that, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, a lot of times homeowners will hear that scratching and they go ahead and try to solve the problem themselves. Maybe they put out some poison, and what happens when the rat or the animal eats that poison?
I don't use poison because all poison does is put dead animals in your walls. Then you got to call someone like me to come out, find the animal, and do the cleanup. So I try to tell people not to use poison. When people try to critter-proof their own homes, it's really hard to get every single spot. These animals never give up.
Yeah, and homeowners, and I'm just speaking from experience. If we see some rat droppings or something like that, first thing I have done in the past is gone out and gotten some poison, and then you're right. You go through that situation where the rat eats the poison, and then you've got the smell and the problem with flies and everything like that afterwards. Sometimes homeowners will pick up some rat or mouse traps too, and what usually happens when your customers do that kind of thing?
When it comes to trapping, especially with rodents being squirrels or rats, you can trap your entire life. Once you catch the ones that are there, you got about a week or two and new ones come back in. So if you don't critter-proof your house, it's kind of pointless to do trapping. Some of my clients try to get me to do just trapping, and I try to talk them out of it because you're wasting your time.
And so in order to, what's the process like? What does a rat or a squirrel do when they decide that they want to potentially make your home their home?
Well, what the animal does is it investigates your house all the way around every inch. It does it for days on end. Once the animal gets inside, it's normally, when you're talking about rats, it's normally a male. He comes inside, he hangs out for a couple weeks. When he's happy, there's no predators, there's no problems, there's no rain, then he goes and he brings his family back. At that point, you now have half a dozen rats. Squirrels are kind of the same thing.
And then Creature Catchers, what's the typical process that you go through to get rid of those rats or squirrels?
Well, we offer a free inspection. So when you call me, I come out and I'll take a look at the house and tell you what you're dealing with and how we're going to take care of it. If you decide to go with it, what we do is we set traps that day. We start catching the target animals. A couple of days later, we come out and we actually critter-proof the house. We seal every hole 1/2 inch or larger. Then we trap for about a week after that, 7 to 10 days after that, to make sure that any animals caught inside, we can get them caught and get them out of there.
Gotcha. Now, what the unit of measurement, 1/2 inch? That's about that much, right?
About right there.
And you're saying that that a rat or a squirrel can squeeze its way through a small hole like that?
That's right. If you can put your finger in it, you can get a rat the size of a squirrel in it. Rats don't have bones. Their skeleton is made of cartilage, so it's very flexible. So as long as the skull can get in the hole, the entire body of the rat can get in the hole. Squirrels, as soon as they can get their nose in a hole, they will chew a hole the size of your fist.
Gotcha. Okay. And so if you hear a noise, you put out the poison or the rat trap, you catch those, the 1 or 2 rats, you think the problem's over, but in fact, tell our listeners, viewers, and readers about that trail that the rats leave behind to let all of their cousins and relatives come back in.
Yeah, when a rodent moves, it cannot control its bowels. So as it moves, it urinates and defecates. In that, there's a pheromone. That pheromone is used to communicate with other rats. So let's say there's a rat that comes into your house. You catch it. You catch 5 or 6 of them. You've caught them all, and it's quiet for 2 weeks. What happens is then another rat walks by your house, walks in the backyard, hits that pheromone trail, and follows it all the way to the exact same hole that the other one used. And they'll go to the same nest and all the same areas. That's why it's so important to critter-proof, because more will always keep coming.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's take a look at a couple of critters that Creature Catchers has caught, and these particular what we're looking at is a couple of squirrels, right? And these are squirrels that are ready for relocation, right?
Yes, they are. Yeah, these are juveniles. I pulled them out of an attic. What we got here is actually a gray squirrel, but this gray squirrel has changed and turned into a white squirrel. What happens is certain white squirrels live in Charleston. They breed with gray squirrels, and what you get is a litter of 3 gray squirrels and 1 white squirrel. And that's what we got right here. These guys are probably 2 months old. They're still really young, but definitely old enough that they can defend for themselves.
Yeah, and some people absolutely hate squirrels, and then there's others that think they're kind of cute and fuzzy and at a little higher up on the totem pole than a rat. And I do. I personally like squirrels myself, and I would hate to have to kill these squirrels, and Creature Catchers is able to relocate the squirrels rather than kill them, as you might do for rats.
Exactly. We just do not believe in destroying an animal because it is doing what God told it to do.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're going to be relocating these squirrels to another location, but we also have another critter here that you're going to be relocating here today. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'm going to pour this guy out on the ground. This is actually a copperhead. It's a very poisonous snake. The reason I brought him is he's a baby. And I want people to know that just because the animal is small or a baby does not mean it's not dangerous. A baby venomous snake gives you more venom than an adult does, because an adult holds back venom for the second bite and a baby does not. So a lot of times people...
How about I'm kind of a chicken when it comes to snakes. How about I have you hold the microphone and tell us, okay?
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this little guy down on the ground so the camera can get a look at him. I want people to know what a copperhead looks like. A lot of people get confused about a poisonous snake and a non-poisonous snake. Can you see him? This animal right here is probably about Probably about 2 months old again, very small. When it was born with 20 to 30 siblings. So when you have an animal this size in your yard, you probably got a dozen or two more in your yard. And that's why when we do snake removals, we investigate the whole yard. We check all your bushes. We make sure we get them all out of your yard. This little guy here, if you can notice his tail, I don't know if you can see the tail, it's green. That green tail is a lure to bring in lizards and frogs, and that's how it feeds. It's a very small animal, so it can't take on very big animals. Now, he's being awful calm, so I'm going to go ahead and put him back in this jar, and then I'm going to take him out into the deep woods and get rid of him.
And Brad, we have all sorts of different snakes, venomous and non-venomous, and do they tend to try to get into people's houses as well?
Yes, they do. I pulled this guy out of somebody's bathroom.
That must have been quite a surprise.
Yeah, what happened was snakes only move when they hunt. They only hunt when they have a pheromone trail to follow. So these people obviously had mice coming into their house, coming through the sink, or through underneath the sink and into their bathroom. Well, the snake then gets under the house, follows the trail, comes up through the same hole, and then you wake up one morning and there's a poisonous snake sitting in your bathroom. And that's what happened with this guy. Creature catchers got the phone call about 7 o'clock in the morning. By 8 o'clock in the morning, we were there and we had him picked up and contained.
And the snakes are inside the house because the mice are inside the house. They're hunting the mice.
That's exactly right.
So it's not, some people, the first reaction if they see a snake, they want to kill it. Is that not a good thing?
Actually, it's a terrible thing. A snake is considered an apex predator, which is top of the food chain. If you remove top of the food chain animals, the food chain falls apart. So if we were to remove a bunch of snakes, the rats can breed faster and more. So the less snakes you have, the more rats you have.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and head up into that attic area, and you can point out some of the signs that people can look for in their own house if they've got a problem.
Sounds good.
Okay, Brad. Now we're upstairs in the attic area of the house, and what are some of the signs that people should look for when to notice that they may have a problem?
Well, I'll tell you what, Tim. Let's do it like this. I'm going to show you, and you tell me what you see. You
Okay.
take a look along this pipe and tell me if you see anything that shows rodent activity.
I don't see any skeletons or like a dead rat or anything like that. No, there's.
Show you what I see. What I see is little things like right here. You see this dark spot?
Uh-huh.
That's actually urine and fur oil. If you follow down, see how it gets thicker and thicker? This right here would be considered a major highway, okay, where they're going both ways. They run this pipe that way, and this pipe all the way out there. You can see the spots all the way at the end.
It's like an intersection.
Exactly. These are animals of habit. When they find a place they like, they travel it every single day. In that process, they're dropping urine and they're leaving oil from their fur on your stuff. That's why pieces of wood get dark colored, and so do pipes. If you notice, the wires are all dark in there. Eventually those wires, they will start chewing on them because it's in their path, and that's how fires start. Wow,
I just would have thought that was just normal dust and debris that collects over time.
No, it's not. In fact, the neat part about it, if you look close, there's a little bit here when the animal jumps this way, and then there's none. And then all of a sudden it gets thick again next to the chair where the animal jumps back on.
So you really know about the habits of these creatures, right?
Yeah, exactly. The way I do the job is I track animals backwards. I get in an attic, I find this, and I follow it backwards. This particular job wraps all the way around and all the way to the other side of the attic where they're actually coming in.
Now, there may not be any specific signs, other specific signs, but is there anything else that people should look for in general?
Droppings is one thing. Rat droppings look like little black bananas. If you see those, you definitely got a rodent problem. Fur oil is another thing, which is this example right here. Something else would be chewing. Maybe some of your Christmas tree might be chewed up, or a box might be chewed on. There's no such thing as one rodent. So once you find something, call a professional and get it taken care of immediately.
Good deal. Okay, well, let's go back outside, and we'll talk with one of your customers, a homeowner that had a problem that Creature Catchers was able to solve. Okay, now we're talking with Jeff Wilson, and Jeff, you're a homeowner here and a customer of Creature Catchers, right?
Indeed.
What kind of problem did you experience that led you to call Creature Catchers?
We had first moved to Isle of Palms over 2 years ago now, and heard scratching and chewing and above us. And then when I went outside in the garage, there was sign that we had rodents. The call went in. They were there, faster than I would have imagined possible. Brad and his son came in. I like punctual, professional, and personable. They were all three. Got the work done, and not only did they do the work as far as trying to rid the place of the critters, they critter-proofed the place, which is something I didn't know could be done. Each and every hole he found, and he found quite a few, you and I would not see them. Brad came in and saw these holes, put wire mesh over some of them, closed others with wood. In other words, basically made the house impervious to infiltration. And then not only that, after he had finished that, he sprayed some kind of a biological agent up in the attic that protected us from the undesirable effects of what rats leave behind. And then, to top it all off, knowledgeable as he is, explained everything he was doing, why he was doing it, and why it was necessary.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that Brad has a passion for his work.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I've seen the man wrestle an 8-foot alligator. He's an animal lover in the business of ridding homes of animals. So I don't have any fear that there's going to be carnage on my property.
Yeah, and Brad has a way of making you feel like your problem is the only problem on his agenda, right?
Absolutely. He's totally focused when he gets to the home. And then each individual home, we now have moved from Isle of Palms to Mount Pleasant. And he's come to my Mount Pleasant home and critter-proofed it as well. We didn't have the problem we did on Isle of Palms, thank goodness. But I can say that I don't worry about those problems. And having a wife who is not very fond of rodents, it's good. It's good. We get to sleep soundly.
Yeah, and Brad, when you get a call from a homeowner, they've usually that sometimes they've tried to solve the problem themselves. Sometimes they've hoped that it would go away, and so when they finally make that call, a lot of times they're at their wits' end. They want it solved yesterday.
Yeah, what I do, believe it or not, is I sell peace of mind. When I come out, I find the problem, and I solve it as quickly as possible so that you can get back to your lifestyle and stop waking up at midnight listening to the scratching.
Yeah, and Brad, I guess that's important because some homeowners might expect, I make the call, maybe they'll get out to me in a few days, maybe a week is a reasonable time frame, but you usually jump right on the case right away.
I do my best to make all calls within the hour. Sometimes I cannot. I've never gone more than a 24-hour period. I mean, if you call me at night, I'll be there in the morning. I also do let my phone ring in the nighttime, so when people call with bats, if you have a bat in your bedroom, you need me right now, and I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and I go catch that bat.
And what kind of a warranty, once you critter-proof a house, what kind of a warranty do you offer to make sure that that the critters don't come back?
We give a written warranty for 1 full year. You can extend your warranty every year so that you're covered for the rest of your life if you'd like. But with the initial contract, you get 12 months. And what that means is if you see, hear, or smell something, you just call me and I come out and take care of it.
Great. Okay. Well, how can anything you want to add, Jeff, about being a customer of Creature Catchers?
There's no pressure there. He sees the problem. He remedies the problem. He offers solutions for the problem, sometimes more than one. there is no browbeating to sign long-term contracts. He honors his warranty. The way you should operate a small business in America. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, tell everyone how they can get in touch with Creature Catchers, Brad.
The best way to get a hold of us is straight call me on my phone. My phone number is 843-205-0551, and that phone number rings my hip, the phone in my pocket. So you will always get me when you call me. You won't get another technician, you won't get an answering service, and you're not calling an 800 number that's out of state. So when I tell you I'm going to be there right away.
Okay, terrific. Well, we've been talking with Brad Hilfrink with Creature Catchers, and one of his customers, Jeff Wilson, a homeowner who has had Creature Catchers take care of a problem and solve the whole problem for him. So, thanks so much, Jeff.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, Tim.